Once upon a time there was a mother pig and her 3 piglets. 3 brothers are the same height. Round, pink, with the same funny tails. All summer the pigs played in the green grass, basked in the sun, basked in the puddles. But then autumn came. One day my mother said that it was time for them to think about winter. She asked them to build a big house. The younger brother said that winter is still far away. The middle brother said that he would build his own house when needed. And the older brother decided to build the house himself. The younger and middle brothers did nothing but play their games. It got colder and colder every day. The younger brother decided to build a house out of straw. The middle brother thought it would be very cold in the thatched house in winter. He decided to build a house from twigs and twigs. By the evening their housing was ready. They were very proud of themselves and could not get enough of their buildings. Now they were free and could do whatever they wanted. They decided to go to their older brother and see what kind of house he had built for himself. The older brother was busy building. He applied stones, kneaded clay and slowly built himself a reliable, durable home. The younger brothers found their older brother at work. They were very surprised at what kind of fortress he was building. The elder brother calmly continued to work. The younger and middle brothers began to joke and laugh at his house. They were so amused that their screeching echoed far across the lawn. The elder brother asked to be quiet, because the wolf could hear them. The younger and middle brothers were amused even more. They decided that the older brother was just a coward. And the 2 brave brothers went for a walk. On the way, they sang and danced, and when they entered the forest, they made such a noise that they woke up the wolf who was sleeping under the pine tree. The disgruntled and hungry wolf went to the place where the screeching of 2 stupid pigs came from. The brothers walked merrily and talked about how easily they would deal with the wolf. And suddenly they saw a real living wolf. He was standing behind a large tree. He had very evil eyes and a huge toothy mouth. The brothers were so frightened that their thin tails trembled finely. The wolf prepared to jump. He snapped his teeth and blinked his right eye. The pigs suddenly came to their senses and, screeching across the forest, rushed to run away. Raising clouds of dust, they rushed each to his own house. The younger brother ran to his thatched hut and slammed the door in front of the wolf. The wolf growled and demanded to open the door. The younger brother, out of fear, could not utter a word. Then the wolf began to blow. The light roof instantly flew off the thatched hut. The wolf took a deep breath and blew a second time, and the thatch house flew in all directions. The wolf was delighted, snapped his teeth, and pounced on his younger brother. But the pig deftly dodged and ran. He ran to the house of the middle brother. The brothers managed to lock themselves up and looked at each other in dismay. The wolf got angry and began to blow. The house is slightly askew. The wolf blew a second, then a third, then a fourth time. But the house was still standing. The wolf took a deep breath and blew for the 5th time. The house shook and fell apart. Only one door stood for some time in the middle of the ruins. In horror, the piglets rushed to the house of their elder brother. The wolf ran after them. He was sure that this time the pigs would not run away from him. The piglets quickly rushed past the large apple tree without even hitting it. And the wolf did not have time to turn and hit the apple tree, which covered him with apples. One hard apple hit him between the eyes. A big bump jumped on the wolf's forehead. At this time, the younger and middle brothers managed to run into the house of the older brother and bolt the door. The wolf ran to the door, growled and demanded to open the door. The younger brothers were very scared and could not say anything in return. And the elder brother knew that he and his brothers had nothing to fear in a solid stone house. Then the wolf sucked in more air and blew as soon as he could. But no matter how much it blew, not a single stone moved. And then he looked up and noticed a large, wide chimney on the roof. He carefully climbed onto the roof and began to go down the pipe. The pigs heard a rustle. The elder brother immediately guessed what was the matter. He quickly rushed to the cauldron in which water was boiling and tore off the lid. The wolf went down the pipe and fell straight into the cauldron. His eyes widened to his forehead. The scalded wolf flew out with a wild roar and rushed into the forest. And the three little pigs looked after him and were glad that they had so cleverly taught the evil robber a lesson. From that time on, the brothers and their mother began to live together under one roof. A long time ago, a poor girl, Karen, lived with her mother in a distant village. In the summer she had to walk barefoot, and in the winter in rough wooden shoes, which rubbed her feet terribly. And then one day the old lady shoemaker sewed Karen shoes from scraps of red cloth.
Wow.
She brought the girl a gift exactly on the day Karen's mother went to heaven. And the poor girl had no choice but to put on new shoes for the funeral. Although red shoes were not at all suitable for mourning, Karen had no others. At this time, a large old carriage was passing through the village, and in it was an important lady. She saw the girl, felt sorry for her and decided to take her home. For many years Karen lived with a lady and never took off her favorite red shoes. But the girl has grown noticeably and the time has come to buy her new shoes. So, the lady took Karen to the store. The lady was already old, and therefore could not see the correct pair of shoes. Then she asked Karen to choose the most modest black shoes to wear to church. But in the shop window there were bright red shoes. They were exactly like the ones that the shoemaker had once made for Karen. And so the girl told the lady that she had chosen the simplest shoes, and the mistress gladly paid for them. Sunday came, and the old lady ordered Karen to get ready for church. The mistress told the girl to dress modestly and restrainedly. But Karen so wanted to put on new shoes that she could not resist, and went to church in red shoes. And all the people in the service every now and then looked at Karen's feet. After dinner, the lady learned from the people that Karen had come in red shoes. The lady could not stand the shame and decided to go home early. But an old soldier was waiting for them at the church gate.
Hello.
He bowed deeply to the ladies, saw the red shoes, and began to praise them as never before.
Nice.
Karen danced with delight. And then her legs began to dance by themselves, as if the shoes had some kind of magical power. The girl was frightened, wanted to throw off her shoes, but they were tight. The shoes were firmly attached to her feet. And Karen had to dance. She danced through the fields and meadows, in the rain and in sunny weather, both at night and during the day. And then one night the girl found herself on the edge of the forest. It was dark and scary all around. Then suddenly a white light blinded Karen. It was an angel in a long white robe. Behind his shoulders were large wings that descended to the very ground.
No.
He looked at the girl sternly and said that for her deceit, pride and disobedience, she would dance for eternity, until she dries up like a mummy. Before Karen had time to say a word, the shoes grabbed her and led her on. For a long time, the girl's shoes were worn over the stones, through the thicket and thorn bushes.
Oh no!
Sharp thorns dug into Karen's legs and scratched them bloody. And then she danced to the small secluded house of the forester. The girl sat down on the porch and cried bitterly. She managed to repent of her disobedience and most of all wanted to apologize to the lady. When the forester heard the girl crying, he took pity on her and decided to help. Then he took silver scissors and cut the red shoes.
Cool!
Karen was overjoyed to be able to control her legs again. Now, more than anything, she wanted to go home. The girl thanked the forester, and he presented her with his daughter's old wooden shoes. Putting on her shoes, Karen thanked her rescuer again and ran home. So, she raced through the fields, making her way through the forests day and night, until she saw the outline of her house.
Wow.
Then the girl gathered her last strength and rushed to the entrance. She ran into the drawing room, where sat a sad lady, who had been mourning her named daughter all week. Seeing Karen, the mistress beamed with joy.
Oh yeah.
The girl threw herself into the arms of her wet nurse, and began to apologize for her disobedience. Of course, the mistress forgave Karen, and the girl promised never to deceive anyone again.